Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So, today on our Ancient Mysteries show, we are going to dive into the spiritual weather report. And as you know, we like to track and follow, the cosmic energies that are happening because they have such a powerful effect on us. And they can answer questions about why am I feeling this? Why am I stuck in this? Why is this coming back in my face? Why is Saturn keeping me from this? Why is Mercury retrograde? So we have a lot of common things in the world now that people understand a lot more about retrogrades. However, there's so many layers of things that are happening. And really what's happening is we're getting guided through the year like a tunnel to go through opportunities to transform who we are, to let go of our old identity, to stop identifying with trauma or pain or anything that we believe is bad, because we are here to build the world of light. So I'm super excited because we've got eclipses coming up now in September. So we have our super duper expert friend, Donna. Hi, Donna. Thank you.
Hello.
I just like put secret astrology. So I want people to know we're doing astrology. We also have a couple spots left in our retreat. So if you want to come, please contact me. We're going to do the Queen's Pilgrimage, incredible at the wells and everything. And we're going to be going on the lunar eclipse with Maria. We're going to be at Stonehenge and all these other goddess sites and private access and lunar eclipse and full moon and high moon and lots of magic. So let us know if you want to do that. Also, I want to let you know that the money manifesting magic workshop, which we did for donation, was a huge success. And we've got so many people coming back. It turned into a 3-hour workshop. So please check it out. Please make sure to get it because the things that we're hearing are just transformational. Okay. And it's on the shop. You can find it no problem. All right, so now we're going to tell you a little bit about Donna, but if you've been here before, you know you're going to find her at donnastellhorn.com. I do recommend you get on her email list. Here's why. She sends out a newsletter once a week, and it is packed with information. You can go back to it at some point during the week and say, what's happening today? And you can open it up and go, oh, that's what's going on. The other day, I just was things were being thrown all over, and I just went and checked to find out what's going on. And then her YouTube channel, she does all kinds of fabulous YouTubes. So she's the author of 20 books, okay, and video courses. And she does this book right here, right? The Chinese Astrology. That's the newest one about all of the signs. Then you have a lot of books about individual signs, and you've got courses on finding money in your chart, which is always like the big one. So make sure that you connect with Donna. Thank you for being here.
Hello. It's always good to join you and talk to you, especially in eclipse season, which is what we are approaching. So, we get a set of eclipses every 6 months, and so it's really our time to check in with ourselves too. And so, one of the things to do that I was doing when I was preparing for this was to think back 6 months ago and what were the changes that I put into place? What were the things that I had decided for myself and, maybe new routines, especially because this is a Virgo Pisces energy of eclipses. And so I'm so happy to see that the changes that I implemented, I'm still doing, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it's also a way to use the energy. Eclipses can bring big changes in people's lives, but I always say it's kind of like the difference between riding the wave or like surfing the wave or being hit by the wave.
Yeah. Or if you were in California, getting bowled under and rolled over and dislocating your shoulder with it. Yeah. Don't get hit by the wave. Just don't do it.
Yeah. Oh, did that happen?
Oh yeah, yeah. When we lived in California, we wanted to surf, so we were boogie boarding, and the waves
Uh-huh.
are very intense there.
Yeah.
And we both got hurt. Yeah, Chris dislocated his elbow.
Oh
But
no.
Yeah, but I love the ocean. So the analogy to that really rings for me energetically. I get it. Like I use
Mhm.
that term all the time. I'm like, let's get on top of this wave and ride it. Let's get
Yes.
on the crest of the wave. You know, let's float on the top and let it lift us up using the energies. And I learned that from you. I mean, what I've learned from you about eclipses, honestly, has been very, very, it's an integral, of course, eclipses, like you said, twice a year. So it's not like a
Mhm.
daily thing, but I
Mhm.
plan for it. I make sure I know when they're coming. I look at if I'm traveling on those dates. I never used to think about that. When
Yeah.
I went to Greece 2 years ago, everybody else who was leaving left on the eclipse. They all
Yeah.
flew out and I stayed. I said, "You're flying?" And they looked at me like, "Well, yeah, everything ended yesterday. So now I get on a plane." And I go, "Well, not only do I not do that because I like extra time, but it was the eclipse." So I
Mhm.
stayed for 2 days in Athens and I
Yeah.
just wandered around and had a fabulous time,
Mhm.
because, but I know how to use the energy now and use it up. And I think that's really important. Like, don't just sit and wait for it to hit you.
Yes, I think that's very important is to, even now, and actually, I don't know when this will be released, but, beforehand to ask yourself those important questions. And the questions really range from what am I not happy in my life? Like what would I like to change? But also, what am I afraid would change? And because that area is vulnerable too, because the universe looks at that and goes, "Oh, really? You're nervous about that?" So, so it's kind of like we need to look at the different things in our lives, all of the different areas of your life. And when you do that, then you can narrow down, even when you don't know your chart. Oh, I bet the eclipse is hitting me in this area.
Yeah. Well, and a couple things you've taught me was I know you're going to share more about this one in particular too, but it's like a doorway and
Hmm.
you go through it and it shuts behind you and you don't get to go back. You
Correct.
leave the room or something, you said. And that's again a really excellent. I love teaching that way too. I love having that because for me it's like, okay, wait a minute. Do I have everything I want from this room because I'm not coming back?
Yeah.
Like I look around my life, I prepare before it comes, and then I make sure I'm doing something really awesome that day, or nothing
Mhm.
or whatever. But if you're leaving something and you don't know, like you said, exactly, maybe you do know your chart. Oh, it's going to hit
Mhm.
me in this area, but it kind of can hit you. I mean, we talked earlier about how Chris had a big eclipse a while ago and he didn't get hit at all. I did. I got
Yes, we can
flapped
share
out.
that energy. When you're in the household with someone, yes, you can use their energy, and that means you get hit. That's
Yeah.
the universe saying you get the surfboard.
Yes, I get the surfboard. So I just understand that it's not like I can control it or I know exactly how it will unfold, but I can prepare by either knowing, like from you, what are the particular energies. This is a Virgo Pisces and whatever. But I also see them like one eclipse opens and I go through a door and I'm sort of on a little bridge through the universe, a little wormhole. And then it delivers me to the other eclipse. And then I re enter, reality. That's kind of how I feel like I'm sort of going, and what I do between the eclipses is kind of like a Harry Potter staircase. It keeps changing direction based on if I'm, avoiding my problems or whatever, right? Like it's doing that. That's my
Yeah.
perception.
Yeah. Well, and I find that, I can get a new routine or habit for a few months and then it's what is it called? Entropy, right? Entropy is that thing that causes the room to get messy all by itself. It's just that things just
Happens
evolve.
to you too?
Yeah, it certainly does. So it's just that this idea that things just devolve into chaos. And so every 6 months, I get this reset, especially this pair because this is Virgo and Pisces. And so of course Pisces is the very spiritual, that's going to be our lunar eclipse right at that critical degree of 15. And so 15 being the halfway point is the critical degree of choosing. It's a decision point.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. And so that's on September 7th. And then that's followed by the solar eclipse, also at a critical degree, and that's at 29 Virgo.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so the new moon that we are having, I think around the time, I think you said this is coming out on the 21st of August. And so around that time, the new moon is at 0 degrees of Virgo. And then it'll be followed by that solar eclipse a month later at 29 degrees of Virgo. And so a really intense Virgo time. And Virgo is very much about what do you do on a daily basis to move your life forward in a way that's, spiritual and reverent and in harmony with the earth.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Wow.
so
Well,
that's mhm,
the Virgo part of it is, I think, give us a little more because my mom's Virgo, so that's my main experience, of course, is coming through the mom, role
right.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I first started learning about astrology from my friend, she knew my mom, and she said to me, she goes, just go home and just go talk to your mom and just listen to how she talks. She goes, they like everything inside the lines. They like everything organized. And no lie, the very next time I talked to my mom, she said she just drove on the freeway and she goes, nobody stays inside the lines. What's wrong with everybody?
Yes. Yes. So when somebody's sun sign is in Virgo, they're learning how to do that sun sign. We're all learning our sun signs, and we're trying to express ourselves through that energy so we can learn it. And so because the Virgo energy is very much about the details, if you think of it as an earth sign, it's the sand. It's like, is every little grain in place?
Oh, that's a good one.
So, and how the sand can get in between things and all of that is just very much about, taking things to a granular level, right? So that Virgo energy is about looking at your life. And because it's 29, it's about finishing something. So what is it that you can, you know, be done with?
Mhm.
Or because it's Virgo, we say, what is it time to harvest? So, and that can mean, is this, it might be a time to look at your investments. It might be a time to look at your friendships. It might be a time to look at, what's going on in your life. Is something passing out of your life that is valuable to you that you need to hold on to? That would be gathering the harvest.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And with the eclipses, get it before you leave the room.
Yes, get it before it's gone. And the 29 degree means it's going to be gone if you don't grab hold of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's from the new moon in August through to the new moon in September. It's that
Yes.
energy is going
Yes.
to
The
be
solar
before the
eclipse
first
is
eclipse. This
is a
is
new moon. Yes.
yeah. So, but that's kind of an art overarching, arching energy of this month.
which which is rare that we get the
Yeah.
two,
Yeah.
so it would normally, like, if it wasn't an eclipse, it'd be called a black moon, right? So a new moon that's kind of like a blue moon is in the full moon. But because it's a solar eclipse, we go, it's a solar eclipse. It's a bigger deal than a black moon.
Hmm. Hmm. So what is amplified because of the eclipse in an energy like Virgo? Is it amplifying that day-to-day thing or the removal and the cleaning and the organizing or like an
All of that
earth sign? Yeah.
plus your job, which is also Virgo. I mean, that thing that you go to every day or that you call your work, and your health and what you do around your health. What are the routines that you are doing to maintain your body and to, deal with healing? And many of the people who are listening to this broadcast are already working on these things. You may have already said, oh, you know what, I'm going to go in and check and see if like my vitamins are okay, like, and you might pull cards or do a pendulum or do muscle testing or something like that. You might reset your sleep schedule. So, or looking like, maybe it's time to replace my pillow or something like that. So, and then in your job, maybe you're looking around saying, is, how is this going to be changing? How's it going to change in the next 6 months?
Mm.
Does it look like, that management is doing something different? Should you be looking around? Should you be, thinking more long term rather than, oh, I have to go there again? So
Yeah.
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 And starting to put into place those habits that will lead you to a joyful type of work.
Yes, please. Let's all be joyful. Do something we
Yes.
love. Just please, let's all do
Yeah.
something we love. Yeah, I know. Well, I find that very interesting because I'm thinking now about that 0 to 29 degrees, of the moon in that new moon cycle, sort of, including inside of it the lunar eclipse, like
Correct.
that inside of it, like, wow, this is a very, very, very interesting. Very interesting.
Yes. So lunar eclipses are interesting in the sense so that the the what's happening is the earth is in the way, right? So the reason that the moon, what they say, it's so dramatic, they say the moon turns to blood,
Yeah.
it turns red, is because the light of the sun is blocked by the earth. Now, the earth represents all the mundane things that we do, the everyday stuff. And so it can feel very overwhelming around the time of the lunar eclipse of and this is an eclipse in Pisces. So, like, how can I get my meditation done? How can I walk the spiritual path when I got dishes, when I got work, when I've got bills? And and that eclipse energy is that it is important to put the spiritual in there too, because that makes everything, all the rest of the stuff worthwhile and meaningful and, has purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a book a long time ago that I read that I can't remember what was inside the book, but I always remember the title, which was Chop Wood, Carry Water.
Yeah, I know the book. Yeah.
Yes. And it was so unique for the time
It
because
was.
nobody was really talking about it then,
Yeah.
of how these everyday actions could be done with a reverence that brought the spiritual into your life.
Yeah. Yeah. The mindfulness, now we have Thich Nhat Hanh and, a lot of other mindfulness things, and I adore him. But I remember that. And I remember at the time thinking, I don't want to become enlightened and then chop wood and carry water. Like, my little ego was not happy with that idea at all.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but
it doesn't, because I was perceiving it as you get to suffer and do the hard work as the loser, right? And then you're gonna go through all this and you're still gonna have to do it. But
right,
you change your perception of what that means and what it is, and become mindful
right,
of,
right.
of
Some
what you're doing in the
spiritual
moment.
master, and I can't remember his name, but he said that enlightenment is doing everyday things, but your feet are about 2 inches off the ground.
Yes. Yeah.
That sort of, yeah, you're still going to do all the regular stuff, but it has a different meaning so that when you are cooking your soup and you reach for the basil, now the basil has all of those spiritual qualities. So when you put it in, you're doing the magic.
Yes, yes, yes. I love it.
Yeah.
What we talk about is a master, because this is coming up a lot. This is a very big spiritual question, thankfully, because people are getting far enough on their path to have different questions now. It's not
Mhm.
just,
Yes.
and if you're just waking up, you go through a phase. Okay, let's just say very fast one now, but a lot faster than you and I did, that's for sure. But that question of, like, isn't it supposed to get easier? Or now that I've done all this hard spiritual work, why do I still have pain in my body? Or why is my, dad die? And why does this happen? And you're in a body and everything's still going to happen. There's a tidal wave, there's still a tidal wave, but do you react a certain way to the master, meaning the person who can choose their state of consciousness regardless of what's happening around you in the moment?
Mm.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
changes it completely.
Yeah,
Look at
that's a very important point. And then as the things arrive, the lessons, the pain in the body and all that, now it has a more nuanced meaning of, oh, okay, well, perhaps I'm in the wrong environment, or perhaps there's something that I need to pay attention to that's related to this on the spiritual or emotional or intellectual bodies that I have as well. And so addressing things much more completely. So
Yeah.
because we did sign up to come and try this stuff out, you know?
Well, this is to me, you came here now with a great desire. There's a lot of
Yes.
people here, and it's not by accident. It's not, for some 3D reason. There's a lot of spirit that wants to be here to experience this.
Yes. Yeah.
And you can say it's terrible and whatever you want, but you can also live with Donna and I, where we're over here going, wow, it's finally happening. This is interesting. Wonder what's going to happen next. Oh, that
It's
could be
really
happen tomorrow.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, we're not going to be, I heard someone say this the other day. I was on a conference and they
Mhm.
said, even this awakening is not going to last, right? Like you get this accelerated transformation. Oh no, oh no. And then it'll go slow down again. And you'll be like, why is it going so slow?
That's really true. Yeah, kind of like nobody's happy with the weather ever, right? So, but for us, for this time, I think that that we want to look at, the Pisces part, which is the world. That's that lunar eclipse. What's going on in the world? How can we help? How can we be a light in the world? And then the solar eclipse, the Virgo, okay, let's go back and refocus on taking care of our lives and our routines and what are in our routines that are interrupting our growth, our spiritual journey. So, and then specifically because it's eclipses, say, what is it that I want to change? Or what is it that I'm afraid would change? And then what can I do about those things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or what have I been avoiding changing? And I know I'm avoiding it and I'm kind of waiting for it to kick my butt one day, like, I hope that doesn't come back to bite me in the butt, because
Yeah.
I think we all know when it's time to like stop doing that or start doing this or be more of something else too. So the first one's the lunar eclipse, and that's on the
Yes.
7th.
On the
And
7th.
and that's Pisces.
That's 15 degrees of Pisces.
That's the
So if you are a
middle.
Pisces, you are going to be affected, of course, but everybody has Pisces in their chart somewhere.
Right.
And so if you don't know your chart, then you can just kind of think, like, oh, my friends, she's having some problems. Wonder if this is in the area of friendships, or oh, there's a plumbing issue. I wonder if this is going to be in my area of home. So you can kind of sense where that is. And then the solar eclipse is on the 21st of September. And that's the Virgo energy. And that will be, for most people, I shouldn't even say most, lots of people will be just the opposite house in your chart.
Oh, okay.
So, and that's it. But we always do that axis sort of thing, like the 1-7 axis is it's me and the other person. And so I'm focused on the other person, I'm focused on me, and back and forth and back and forth. And this pair is the daily life to the spiritual life that is unlimited. That's the dynamic that we're going back and forth. Pisces has no boundaries. It's connected to everything. And then Virgo is, okay, wait, I want to move this one object to this precise location.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're
Organized.
they're the axis of the energies.
I get it. AXIS.
Yes,
Like
yes.
axis. Okay.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
access. Okay. Got it. I was
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's also
sure
that too.
there's access to. Okay. And then I was like, no, there's something wrong with, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And so Pisces is very intuitive, right?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
and fluid, like you said, it's a water sign. It could be energy that dissolves, it
Yes, yes. Like water is our universal solvent.
yeah.
So, yes.
So you
And
can call on these energies for different reasons, right?
oh yes. That's why we say it's so intuitive, is because there is not a boundary. It is dissolving the boundaries.
Mm.
Yeah.
So that would be, there's things maybe you don't want to dissolve what you have, but to give permission to your higher self, to your spirit, to decide what needs to be dissolved. That's for your highest good. Then accessing that
Mhm.
energies. That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it because it could be your boundaries to your intuitive senses. It could be that you've been asking, I want to talk to my dog. I want to talk to my higher self. I want to know what my body's saying to me. And,
Yeah.
we just finished our Intuition Awakening summer camp, and it's always just like everybody's just at the end is just like, "Whoa, I had
Mhm.
no idea." We can all do it. So,
Yeah.
that would be a
Yeah.
nice thing is to say, oh, I want this energy to dissolve the optimal boundaries to
Hmm.
that intuitive
Yes.
trust and connection. Fulfillment.
Yes. And to
Fulfillment.
really bring in all of that information that you're looking for, the help and the guidance that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So, and then to apply it into your life on this daily basis for the Virgo. But the Virgo also, that energy of the harvest is what's ripe, what's ready to go, what's going to get eaten by the birds if I don't go and take it. I've had
Uh-huh.
people, clients who have come and said, like, I had this book idea in my mind for years, and now I see someone else wrote it. It's a bestseller. Why didn't I do that? And that's an example of the harvest was there and it got eaten by the birds.
And it's not just given to you. I used to hear that long time
Mhm.
ago, by like Zen masters or whatever, like real. And I was like, wait a minute, like I wanted to be special and like that's just my download and whatever. But of course, if it comes through me, it comes through you, it's going to be different. But the
Mhm.
topic that does come into our consciousness, I've had the same thing. That recent book that came out, I just went, I've been teaching this for years. Now this
Yeah.
is like the mega bestseller and it's this big and somebody just said, be happy,
Mhm.
what I'm just
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah.
That's simple. So, that's do it now, do it now. We come from a delay culture. We come from a wait, not now, this is better, when that changes and all of that. And that's
Well, yes, and unfortunately, I think that sometimes with astrology, we can really get into that idea of this is not the right time. Where's the good timing? So, but
yeah.
that's, there's a difference between when's a good timing to start versus when's a good timing to launch. Like if I say, "Oh, don't launch yet," I'm going to give you time probably next week. That is going to work. So that's a very short distance, but it's the starting that people say, "Oh, I don't feel like it's the right time." As soon as my life calms down a little bit, as soon as,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It just goes
So
on forever. So
yeah. And that's the other part of these Virgo energy, this new moon, 0 degree new moon that we're getting in August. And then the 29 is you're busy, you are really busy, so much busier. And some of that is because of the habits, because now in the 5 minutes where we would have had space, now let's check the news and see, what blew up and
not
whatever.
me, but
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes people so busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
because there is no space between the things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pause. We were talking the other day about how slow life used to be. You
Yeah.
know, like, I don't know if you ever did healing during snail mail days, but people would literally put their hair in an envelope, write me a letter, and send it to me from across the planet. I would get
Wow.
it. They didn't know when I got it. They didn't know when I did the healing. I would write up the healing. I would send it back to them. That's how life worked.
Yeah.
You know, when I moved to Europe, I was 9. It was
Mm.
50, $100 to make a 3-minute phone call. Nobody was
Yes.
calling anybody. We didn't know what was going on anywhere
We
else.
didn't call. That
And
is
you were
true.
so, you didn't have this input right here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so maybe that's the thing that you'd like to change is that routine of creating some more space for the universe to come in, which would both serve that Pisces and the Virgo.
Yeah. And how can they now they're going to do a dance for a while, right? They come back again next year, Virgo Pisces, or did we do that already?
So yeah, let me
Because I
bring
know they do at least 1 year, right?
correct. So in March of next year, the lunar eclipse is going to be 12 Virgo. So opposite the lunar eclipse that we're having on September 7th. But the February eclipse for next year is 28 Aquarius. So we're going to start on our Leo Aquarius eclipses next
Ah,
year.
so
And
it's
then a year from now, in August, the total solar eclipse will be 20 Leo. And then the lunar eclipse will have a 4 Pisces. So we'll still do, um,
a little
so
Pisces.
yeah, so we're still going to do at least Virgo Pisces until February 2027.
Ah,
But we're going to start getting in some Leo Aquarius eclipses, which then we're going to be talking about creativity and your time out in the community.
yeah. And did you say that that eclipse next year is in August? A Leo eclipse in August, like in
Yeah.
Leo? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. August 12th, 20 degrees of Leo. And that's going to be a total solar eclipse. I don't know where it's visible. If you ever want to super change your life, go be in the path of the eclipse.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, go see an eclipse and your life will change dramatically over that 6-month period.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember one a few years ago here, and we wear these obsidian medallions. This one's kind of
Mhm.
small, but we wear bigger ones, and they're from the Maya, and you can see through them, even though they're
Yeah.
very black. You can see the sun through them, and this is how they would watch the eclipses.
Oh, okay.
We were watching it, but you could see it on the ground
Yeah.
through the coconut trees, and it was making these like multiple little crescent moon shapes or something
Yeah.
in shade. It was the most beautiful, weird, and unusual thing. You really couldn't see it when you looked, but when you looked at the ground, you could. Yeah.
Yeah. That's so interesting.
Uh, so, oh my, that's a good one to get ready for. So then we think 6 months back for this
Mhm.
one,
Yes.
and then 6 months forward because there'll be more Virgo in
Yes.
February.
Yes. So we did March of this year was the 23 degrees of Virgo and 9 degrees of Aries.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and those two eclipses, those were very much about, all right, let's jump into things. Let's really start to take some action again on that granular level, that basic level of what can I get done.
Mm,
But this one is much more, how do we balance and bring the spiritual into our daily routines, and how do we make daily routines more spiritual?
yeah, I like that. I'm a big fan of that. We need balance. The problem is the spirit can be attractive, addictive, can be very soothing. It can be, what do people call it? A bypass, like kind of use it to avoid certain things.
Mhm.
But true spiritual path is leading you into and through that darkness, right? So this is this is part of that energy, and bringing more balance into your spirit and bringing more routine, a spirit into your daily routine for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the eclipses do talk a lot about balance. And it'd be wonderful to be so spiritual all the time, but then the, electricity bill's not paid and the lights go off and stuff
Exactly.
like
That
that.
exactly. We have to walk in two worlds at
We
least.
do. We do. And this set of eclipses is so we need to be so aware of that
Mhm.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we close, I want to just I really feel drawn to this energy of and anything else you have to share, but the Virgo Pisces, and then this moon, this full moon, um, being there, you know, halfway between these two moons that go from 0 to 29. It
Mhm.
feels like there's a journey going on and then another journey inside of that, you know,
Mhm.
joining alongside of you. And so, because it's ending at Virgo, but beginning in Pisces, is there some kind of guidance on how to, be moving towards that practicality that Virgo has while you're listening to that deeper intuitive self on that journey over that month?
Yeah, I think that because we're in a rush, it's hard to be present. But as you said, the mindfulness is the key.
Mhm, mhm.
So the awareness of, like, okay, you're standing doing some Virgo things like washing the dishes or folding the laundry, but to really experience that, of the water coming down onto the dish, of the feel of the fabric as you fold the things,
Mhm.
that, becoming present. And when you do, that's where the joy is.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm actually going to be giving a class on this eclipse, but I think the class happens before your video comes out. But there will be a recorded version where we're going to go very deep into this. And
Okay.
so if people go to my website, they'll be able to find the eclipse class,
Okay.
and that's going to answer a lot of questions of, specifically, all right, if it's hitting in my seventh house of relationships, how's this going to affect things?
Oh,
Or
perfect.
how, like, what are the actual things I can do to shift the energy? So, and especially even if you've got family members who are doing this energy and you want to help them out, how to shift that energy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter because it'll be still at least 2 weeks, when
Oh, yeah.
from
Yeah.
here, it'll be 2 weeks before the first eclipse. And okay, that's fantastic. So they just go to donnastellhorn.com and they'll be able to see it right there.
They'll be able to see it. Yes. Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a link to Donna below, of course, in our emails, and you know how to find her. Do a Google or a Duck Duck or whatever it's called now. So,
Yeah.
oh, wonderful. Okay, well, anything else you want to share before we close?
So I think that, eclipses are special times. They are times though to remember that everybody is getting this eclipse somewhere in their chart. So be mindful when you are out in the world, because what can happen is other people can be stressed.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you are aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And as you do, you are helping others. You're holding that space for them so that they can get through what they're going through.
Yeah, I like that idea too, because there's a lot of people in your life that aren't interested, that want to learn this, right?
Mhm.
And don't, I tell Chris stuff, but if I get into, there's a conjunction of this and that, he just goes, you know. So it just could be like, hey, pay attention to your emotions, or, like, you can dumb it down, or give people, a heads up, on how to maybe do a
And
resting
just
day.
if someone is seemingly acting uncharacteristically erratic or something like that, say, oh, you know it's probably the eclipse. They may have received some news, about something they didn't want to have change is now changing. And so we have to look at them with compassion and say, yeah, it's hard. Change is hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's, change is change. It's just that if we don't want change, or we try to control change, or we try to control how it happens, if we just go, okay, change, luckily I do have that part of me. Tend to have a lot of very, very painful change, but that's okay.
Mm, yeah.
When I first started to do, you're a tarot expert. So when I first started to learn the tarot, and my friend would be doing a reading for me, I did not really understand any of it. The tower card would come up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Flames are coming out and the people are jumping, and I thought it was awesome. And she would look at me like, like, uh-oh. And I'd be like, ooh, what's that? That looks awesome. Change. Yeah, let's do it. So it's all in how you look at it, right? So,
It is. It
yeah.
is. It's the kid digging through the manure saying, with this much, doo-doo, there's got to be a pony in here somewhere.
I never heard that. That is so cute. Oh, yeah, there's some doo-doo. I used to live in a village. We'd walk our dogs, and there were more horses than people in our
Mm,
more horses and dogs than people, and the roads
yeah.
were all dirt roads, and so the horses would just, do their little
Yep.
puppies on the road, and they were like steaming hot.
I know.
Mexico, you live there too, so depending on the weather, the steam,
Yep.
and the worst part is that my dogs loved it.
Yeah. Yes.
I found out it's actually good for them, but first I was like, seriously, yeah. But how
Yeah.
cute is that? There's gotta be a pony in here somewhere. Oh. I love it. Well, thank you so much. We will see you again, and sending you and everybody lots of blessings, lots of love, lots of peace, lots of calm. Take the energies, take some notes, listen again, share this with people who are interested in listening to a little bit of it, so that you can get prepared. I find even if I just take a few notes about how I feel like it would be relevant to what I'm going through, and then I can look later. I often put it on my calendar. It sounds weird, but I'll go to that day or the day before, and I'll write a few notes, like intuitive, Pisces, full
Yeah.
moon, eclipse, focus on X, and then it
Yes.
comes up and it reminds me to, not just rush off into your day, and be
Exactly
aware.
right. Yeah.
So, okay, good. Well, you guys find Donna, and let us know what else you want to do, and go out there and bless the world. Lift it up. Let's all be a joy. Let's all be a light.
Yay.
Yay.